Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Argos and Legal here on Lost Temple. This shoutcast is sponsored by LU Computers. Go ahead and check out their website for the upcoming StarCraft 2 release tested computers on the top right hand corner. So yeah, the release of StarCraft 2 only days away. I know some of you guys are trying to get your fix by watching as many replays as you can. Special thanks to Zenith once again for sending me some Protoss versus Zerg replays. Some players have been asking me how come I don't have any PvZ replays. Well, here you go. We have Zenith now gonna go, Legal now gonna go ahead and it looks like he's gonna try to do a front door seal with a pylon, perhaps with a forge and a gateway. And now moving out with this probe, gonna go ahead and scout very early on. This Overlord now gonna be coming in and knowing where his opponent is very quickly. Legal Zenith does not see this Overlord just quite yet. There it is. Now he sees that the Overlord is in fact there, pulling back, but already revealing to Legal that the spawning location is in fact on the top right hand position. So drones and probes making their way to their respective bases, trying to figure out what exactly the strategies are. We're going to see the drone pass by the pylon on the lower ground. So Legal is going to know that it is going to be in fact a front door seal, and now placing this drone here in this patrol position, very nicely done. What it's going to do is prevent any building from being placed there and cause a little bit of an issue, but instead gateway placed on the south side of that pylon instead of that north side. Back over here we now see the probe just running around. We see the spawning pool being built behind the base, allowing not allowing any units to run behind there over here. Now we have the drone trying to take down this pylon over here. Not going to really work. May be able to cut through the shields, but should not be able to really deal much more damage beyond that. Peppy the probe now coming off the mineral line, trying to harass this drone. Drone now pulling away. Same thing over here. We now have Peppy running away from Daisy. Daisy just doing a little bit of a chase and now coming back away. So Overlord now sitting overhead on top of this Nexus, and it looks like we're saving some chrono boost off of this Nexus. So as soon as this gateway is done, we should be seeing some Zealots being chrono boosted out of there. Unless no chrono boosted, but no Zealot being trained. There we go. Finally getting that Zealot out. Gonna lose a couple units of time in trying to increase that. Back over here, we now have that probe coming out, and we now have a Cybernetics core coming in. So very small gateway positioning right there, trying to run in between those two buildings, trying to get back out. Peppy the probe now fighting against that drone. Drone now down to 17 hit points. And now, will this drone be able to escape out? Looks like it will be able to. A split second too late, unable to trap that drone in that base, and both Daisy and her twin sister will be able to come back home and start mining for, I guess, Kerrigan. Back over here, we now have a queen being trained up and also getting a Roach Warren. So Roach is very popular on the Asian realms a little bit more than the American realms, it seems. And the Roaches are going to be fairly decent just because the Zealots are going to try to hit off and try to hide in this position right here. But what's going to happen is the Roaches, with that range of 3, as small as it is, will be able to force these Zealots to try to engage. And if there's a balance of Zerglings and Roaches, it will be fairly difficult for Legal to really hold on to this front door. But now chrono boosting, getting that necessary Stalker, getting the second gateway as well, so that Stalker will be able to shoot down this Overlord. But the Overlord looks like it will be able to head off over here onto this high ledge before that Stalker will be able to come back out. But Roaches now scampering across the field, no creep to help them move that quickly. So Roaches move fairly slowly off of creep, movement speed of 2.25, a little bit slower than Marauders, I believe. Stalkers, Stalkers have a higher movement speed. Zealots also moving fairly slow as well. So those Zealots without Zealot speed legs moving very slow. So those Roaches are now going to try to perhaps take down this one pylon here. And if they're able to take that pylon, perhaps try to kite some of these Zealots out. But one of those Roaches taking a fair amount of damage. One Zealot may get taken down. No, not enough micro, not turning around in time to take down that one Zealot. And now going to go ahead and continue to force as much damage as they can. Argo Zenith is going to lose one Roach there, and now one Zealot. So a little bit of exchange. So 2 for 2. Now I think that's 3 for 3. Taking a look at the loss, yeah, a 3 for 3 in terms of losses, and now trying to take down this one Roach, or this one pylon here. Second pylon now going to be warped in as more Roaches trying to come on in, trying to put a lot of pressure on this front door. One Roach down to 3 hit points. Very nice micro, but no, Stalker with that faster speed and that better range, able to focus it down. Now these 2 gateways are currently unpowered. 4 Roaches, but another Roach getting taken down. So those Stalkers doing a very good job of just microing a faster movement speed and that additional range, really helping out, taking on that one probe there. And now another Stalker coming out. No warp, now warp gates being upgraded, so we're gonna have a lot of Stalkers coming out in just a moment. as these Stalkers continue to put as much pressure as they can. Stalkers should be warping in here down on the lower ground in just a moment. And now the Warp Gate perhaps going to try to take down these pylons. You have more Stalkers coming in now, and these Roaches are going to be forced to scamper back just a little. We have 7 Roaches against essentially what will be 5 Stalkers, and I think that's fairly even in terms of army size. No, it looks as though Argos units now coming in with some Zerglings as well, so the Zerglings are going to try to do perhaps a quick surround, and they're just trying to push on in, and trying to use that move and attack with that slow attack speed of the Roaches. And now those Roaches, or those Stalkers, trying to pull back once again, trying to use that high ground. Roaches trying to take down these pylons, but it's not really working as these Roaches are being pressured by these Stalkers back and forth on both sides. We do have a hatchery being placed down at the natural expansion at the 1 o'clock or the 11 o'clock position. So we do have Argos trying to get more of an economic advantage. Stalkers continuing to give chase, trying to put a lot of pressure down. Another Roach going to get focused down there. So really, it looks as though Argos is trying to take down as many Roaches as he can, trying to even up this whole entire fight. But Argos Zenith taking a lot of losses, 1425 in resource losses, versus Legal Zenith is 1200. And these Stalkers with that faster movement speed will be able to focus this whole entire Roach army fairly easily, and leaving one Roach behind and trying to save that one Roach there. So nice job. And leaving that one Roach to try to break off that whole entire pursuit. We do in fact have this hatchery nearly completed, so hatchery gonna be done. Only 3 more units at a time. We are still at tier 1 though. We are not at tier 2. Back over here in Legal Zenith's base, we only have 3 warp gates, so both players really macroing up, trying to build a very early army, and that is really gonna take its toll. We now have 1 Stalker, should be able to shoot down this Overlord. Overlord may be able to get off in time into the clouds, into that high ground. Will he be able to make it? Yes, Overlord hiding right there, so hiding just in time. Army-wise, or unit combination, we have 4 Roaches versus 7 Stalkers and 2 Sentries. So those Sentries will be able to cause a little bit of force splitting as well with that force field, and causing some of those Roaches to not being able to engage. And right now I think this is Legal's game to lose. Legal has such a strong economic advantage, and currently has an economic advantage with this additional base down over here, getting additional gas as well. But Argo Zenith now with that second queen, trying to get as much spawn larva out as possible, may be able to get back right into this. He really needs Hydralisks in order to try to combat the number of Stalkers there are. Stalkers only deal 10 damage towards a Hydralisk because they are not armored units. And also Hydralisks attack much more quickly. I believe almost 50% faster or slower. I don't know. You have to do the math on your own if you really care about the math that much. Back over here we have 2 extractors now pulling up gas. Taking a look at the income, we Legal Zenith sitting on a lot of gas as well. So sitting on this gas, he will be able to warp in more sentries. But production-wise, I do not see anything else. Oh, we do have observers, and now we're getting the forge and additional gateway. So he's now moving into a 5 gate with the robotics facility. We may see some immortals as well. Immortals, a very, very strong unit to counter those Roaches, and which even shows even more why we need to see a Hydralisk Den or some other production building. Or is he going to go for a Spire? Oh, Hydralisk Den is already up, but no Groove Spines just quite yet. So the range on those Hydralisks only 5 instead of 6. Back over here we have Stalkers, both players just trying to play a game of Sim City, trying to macro up as large of an army as they can. Both players do not want to engage just quite yet. Extractors are now double up for Zenith or Argo Zenith as well, trying to get as many Hydralisks and trying to increase that production. And now we see the Observer just scampering around, trying to see what exactly the tech buildings are. He's probably looking for the Spire or looking for that Hydralisk Den. Still does not see that Hydralisk Den hiding in the backside of that base. So what exactly will happen? Legal not really pushing out. We do have Zerglings or Roaches activating these Naga watchtowers, and production-wise, we are finally getting the Groove Spines and the level 1 weapons upgrade. Poor Roach gonna get taken down very quickly there by the focus of all of these sentries and all of these Stalkers here. So this is gonna be a Stalker sentry army. And now we have Zerglings seen over here. Will these queens be, what are they going to be trying to do? Almost trying to take down that Observer, but now that queen is off that creep. We're going to have a little bit of engagement here, and Zerglings now running very quickly. We do have Force Fields trying to come in. Hydralisk now moving in as well. Guardian Shield trying to adding 2 additional armor to that whole entire fight. And now those Hydralisks continuing to move around. Hydralisks do not have the movement upgrades that were common in StarCraft Brood War. So Roach is able to move faster after the movement upgrades, but stay tuned for part 2 of this replay between Argos and Legal here on Lost Temple.